But I have a big stack of horror books here that I'm trying to select from, and it's a little bit difficult. Well, horror thriller books. Silence. I have a book called Silence. I have a book called Silence. I don't know what that is. What book is that? What book could this be? Hang on. Hi everyone, it's me, Jess. Hope everyone is well. I am very excited for spooky season. It doesn't quite feel like fall. The leaves are starting to turn on the trees, but it is also 21 degrees here. So I'm a little anxious for fall to come. I think I'm tired of summer. I don't know why I'm telling you how I'm feeling, but I am excited about spooky reading, and I'm excited to put together a TBR of some spooky books today for you. I also wanted to get back to I wanted to pull something from my TBR jar that I made when my bookshelf collapsed. That was fun. Feel like I want to pull one of those this time. I also pulled a book from my wrapped TBR for this month because I would like to make a bit more progress on that. And I have a couple of ideas for Victober. Not a lot for Victober, but there's one book I definitely want to read for Victober. And as I was looking at Katie's channel for the prompts for Victober, which I will leave linked below in the description box, I came across Gothtober, which I hadn't heard about before. I went straight over to Olivia Savannah's channel. Her channel is called Olivia's Catastrophe. I'll leave it linked below. She is one of 3 hosts, so herself along with Hannah and Tish are running a readathon called Gothtober, and they have like a whole video game set up where you play the game and you get your prompts. So we'll start there. I played the video game just selecting different icons, and I ended up with quite a few prompts. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fill all of the prompts. I have a big stack of horror and thriller books here that I'm trying to select from, and I thought maybe the prompts would help me with that. I always have a really hard time choosing what to read because I have now a pretty good selection of books that I've been wanting to read for a while. So before we get into all of that, I recently talked about the National Book Awards, and in the course of filming and posting that video, I decided that I was going to host a read-along of Martyr on my channel, or through my channel, and so that's what I'll talk about first. So I've created a schedule for this. I'm going to post it in the description box below. If you don't want to join the Voxer group where we'll be having a discussion, you can follow along according to the schedule if you would like. I've worked it out that we'll read about 80 pages a week. I'm really excited to get started. If you do want to join and you would like to participate in the Voxer discussion, all you have to do is send me a message on Voxer and I will add you to the group. Really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a good one. So I think we'll begin with the prompts from this game that I just played. I've definitely been participating in these types of gamified readathons for quite some time, and I think they're really fun. I find it very motivating. It helps me to read more, and I have a lot of fun choosing the books when the prompts are part of a bigger readathon. So my first prompt is to read a horror book with a Black main character. The book that I grabbed for that prompt, because I have one on my shelf that I thought of right away, is Lakewood by Megan Giddings. So what we have on the back is, it says, reading the book is like running through a meadow and then pausing to glance down and finding yourself covered in burrs. Ooh, that you didn't notice while you were running, and then going to sleep that evening and having a nightmare about burrs. Okay. So the story is about Lena Johnson, whose grandmother dies, and it's revealed that the family is in a lot of debt. So she drops out of college and takes a job in this mysterious and remote town of Lakewood, Michigan, which is the title of the book. On paper, her new job is too good to be true. All she has to do is participate in a secret research program, oh that sounds terrifying, of seemingly world-changing discoveries. an eye drop that makes brown eyes blue. Oh no. It's like genetic modification. Oh, that's so scary. A medication that could be a cure for dementia. That sounds promising. Golden pills promise to make all bad thoughts go away. Okay. But the consequences for the subjects involved could be devastating. Provocative and thrilling, Lakewood is a breathtaking novel that takes an unflinching look at the horror that has been forced on Black bodies in the name of science. So I've had this book on my radar for quite some time and been meaning to get to it for a while, so this is a perfect reason to read it. So the next prompt that I got was read a book that has green on the cover. One book that I've been wanting to read for quite some time, and it does have green on the cover, so I think I'm going to use it for this prompt, is Gillian Flynn's Dark Places. It has this green tree root on the cover, so I'm going to make it fit for that prompt. So I've read her other two novels. This would be my last of her novels, so sort of bittersweet, but I have been meaning to get to it. It's about Libby Day, who was 7 years old when her mother and two sisters were murdered in a Satan sacrifice in Kansas. She herself survived and famously testified that her 15-year-old brother Ben was the killer. 25 years later, the Kill Club, a secret society obsessed with notorious crimes, locates Libby and pumps her for details. They hope to discover proof that may free Ben. Libby hopes to turn a profit off her tragic story. She'll reconnect with the players from that night and report her findings to the club for a fee. As Libby's search takes her from shabby Missouri strip clubs to abandoned Oklahoma tourist towns, the unimaginable truth emerges, and Libby finds herself right back where she started, on the run from a killer. I am so excited to read this. It sounds terrifying. Let me know in the comments below if you read Dark Places. I'm excited to read it. I'm excited for the scary books. So that's two. I mean, I think that's even, if I just read those two, that's pretty good. There's another prompt that says, read a book with ancestry as a theme. And you'll know from watching my video, I think it was my last video, or the one where I talked about the National Book Award. I think it was 2 videos ago where I did a little bit of a book haul. I've been really wanting to read a Sarah Waters, and so I think Fingersmith fits this prompt quite well because it's about a family of petty thieves. Sue Trinder, she's orphaned at birth, but she grows up among petty thieves. So I'm gonna make it work for that prompt. It says, under the rough but loving care of Mrs. Suxby and her family, one day, gentleman, an elegant conman, arrives with a proposition for Sue. If she works as a maid to Maud Lily, a gentlewoman, and aids gentlemen in her seduction, they will all share in Maud's vast inheritance. So it's Dickensian. It's set in 1862. And I just want to read something by Sarah Waters, and this was the one that I purchased, and I don't know if it really fits the ancestry prompt, but I'm going with it. This is why we have prompts, right? So we can bend them and make books fit into them. So I think these three are the three that I'm probably going to be reading for Gothtober. A couple of other possibilities that I have for horror books that I might read this month. There are quite a few, but one of the ones that I talked about a couple of videos ago is Mothering by Ainsley Hogarth. This is about a couple who they are haunted by the ghost of, or she's haunted by the ghost of her mother-in-law. So the main character, Abby, is married to a man named Ralph, and they're haunted by the ghost of his mother, Laura. And it's supposed to be a darkly funny domestic horror, and it sounds really good. So I'm hoping I might get to this one. I also talked about this one, the Lost Tarot. It sounded really good to me. It's about a woman who is sent a tarot card. She's an art historian, I believe, and she's sent a tarot card that was illustrated by an artist who's been long dead, and it's so the mystery of this tarot card, who sent it to her and why. It seems like it could be really good. And then the last one is a ghost story, The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell. I don't know where I heard about this, but I heard that this is one of the best ghost stories around. If The Silent Companions lands on your night table, don't plan on leaving your bed anytime soon. Immersive, meticulous, and reminiscent of the masters of Gothic fiction. Not only a compulsively readable ghost story, but a skillful, loving ode to the entire genre. When newly widowed Elsie is sent to see out her pregnancy at her late husband's crumbling country estate, what greets her is far from the life of luxury she expected when she married the young heir just weeks before. With her new servants resentful and the local villagers actively hostile, Elsie has only her husband's awkward cousin for company, or so she thinks. Inside her new home lies a locked door beyond which is a painted wooden figure, a silent companion that bears a striking resemblance to Elsie herself. Elsie tries to shrug this off as a simple superstition, that is, until she notices the figure's eyes following her. Sounds like a really good ghost story to me. Quite a few spooky books to choose from. We'll see how I do with that. I'm really excited for spooky season. It's a special time of year. There's also Victober, a readathon that happens every October around BookTube. It's hosted by Katie and Roz and a whole group of people. I'm just going to make sure I name everyone. And Kate Howe reads, and Marissa at Blatantly Bookish. There are quite a few prompts. I think each of the hosts has their own challenge or their own prompt. So as you all know, I've been reading The Moonstone as a group read with some lovely folks, and we will be finishing it first week or second week of October. Any Wilkie Collins would definitely qualify, but before I jump into another Wilkie Collins, one of the books that I'm really interested in reading for Victober is a book that was recommended to me by my daughter because she read some of this author's poetry in one of her classes. And it's an author that I'd not heard of before. It's a woman named Amy Levy, or Levy. I think it might be Levy. And the novel is called The Romance of a Shop. So just based on the description, this sounds so good. The Romance of a Shop was first published in 1888, praised by Oscar Wilde, who thought it admirably done, clever, and full of quick observation. This little novel seemed to herald a brilliant career. The book is ostensibly the story of four young ladies who, after the death of their father, decide to open a photographic studio in the heart of London's Bohemia, to the dismay of their priggish relatives. Like much of Livy's work, the novel is concerned with the contradictions besetting the new Victorian woman and her quest for independence despite being constrained by anachronistic social mores and conflicting values. Written just 2 years before her tragic suicide and a few months short of her 28th birthday, The Romance of a Shop has a resonance that goes beyond its apparent innocence, echoing an undertone of despair and a hunger for a liberation that, to Livy's misfortune, came only some years afterwards. That really captured my attention, and my daughter recommended it to me, so that is for sure what I'm going to be reading for Victober. Then the other thing that I wanted to do in Victober is last year, a little later in the year, I started and made it kind of halfway through, well, I did make it halfway through North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell, and the book has stayed with me, the story has stayed with me. I was annotating and doing a close reading, and so I would like to return to North and South and finish North and South this October. I'm bummed that I didn't finish it before now, but it's time. I think it's going to be a good moment to do that. So those are my choices for Victober. Above and beyond that, I'm really keeping it simple. I have my wrapped TBR book that I'm going to unwrap now. I have no idea. I love this wrapping paper though. I don't know why I'm already thinking about Christmas, but look at the dogs on this wrapping paper. Look at this one with the deer. Anyway, it's too early to be thinking about Christmas, but let's see if it fits with any of the themes for the month. Try not to rip the paper. Oh, okay. So I've thought about this book so many times because I want to read it and I haven't read it. And I was thinking I might read it in November for Nonfiction November, but it's Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zahner. I haven't read it yet, so it seems very appropriate. It doesn't fit with any of the October prompts or readathons or anything that's happening, but I think that it will be, I think it'll be really good. I think it'll make me cry. That's cool. I've been wanting to read that for some time. And let's pull one from the jar, shall we? It's always fun to do these TBRs and then determine which ones I actually read. This has so many. This is like 52. This jar has like 52 books in it. I mean, it's going to take me years, but we might as well get started. Silence. I have a book called Silence. I have a book called Silence. I don't know what that is. What book is that? What book could this be? Hang on. Okay. I know what book this is. Okay, I figured it out. Okay, so Silence is this book by Shusaku Endo. I don't know how I got the idea to purchase this book, but at some point I must have heard someone talking about it. This is set in 1640. It's the recipient of the 1966 Tanizaki Prize. It's Shusaku Endo's most highly acclaimed work and has been called one of the 20th century's finest novels. Okay. As empathetic as it is powerful, it is an astonishing exploration of faith and suffering. It's about Father Sebastian Rodriguez, an idealistic Jesuit priest who set sail for Japan determined to help the brutally oppressed Christians there. He is also desperate to discover the truth about his former mentor, rumored to have renounced his faith under torture. Ooh, it sounds really good. Rodriguez cannot believe the stories about a man he so revered. But as his journey takes him deeper into Japan and then into the hands of those who would crush his faith, he finds himself forced to make an impossible choice: to abandon his flock or God. So very religious, Christian, but yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below if you've heard of this book and you've read this book. It's a classic. And I'm reading it because I'm either reading it or I'm unhauling it. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so that's my TBR for October, and we shall see how I get along, how I get on with all those books. Don't forget to sign up on Voxer if you want to join me in reading Martyr. I've had so much fun with these read-alongs over the year, and I'm sure this one will be no different. I'm sure it's going to be a great reading experience. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Are we going to see them in the next video? Are we going to see them in the next video? Bye for now. So there's some kind of manipulation about... I don't think it really fits that prompt. Let's face it. It doesn't really fit that prompt, does it? Of Martyr by... I decided that I was going to host a read-along of Martyr. I was going to host... I think I've divided... So you don't want to join us on Voxer in the Voxer group and participate that way, where we'll have a discussion. We also have Victober. So there's also Victober, the read-along...